Make it bigger.
Recording, it will get bigger. Make it bigger! Are you ready?
Yes, I am.
3, 2, 1.
Get your earballs ready, and welcome back to the Greg and Tim Show podcast. Here are your hosts, Greg and Tim.
Hey, and welcome back to the Greg and Tim Show, the only place where we take sports as seriously as a cat takes laser pointers. I'm Greg, the guy with the face for radio, and with me is my buddy. He's the man who puts the T in trivia, the T in terrific, the T in teeth. Tim.
Thanks, Greg. Remember, the T stands for totally awesome, or tubular if you were the 80s.
Tubular.
Remember totally tubular?
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Dude.
With the guys, the turtles that lived in the sewers.
Ninja Turtles.
Teenage Mutant Ninja
I
Turtles.
hated that show.
Today we're diving into an exciting world of sports, starting with the Winnipeg Jets. Oh, the team that brings the whole new meaning to the phrase puck luck. Is it bad luck, good luck, lack of luck? I guess we'll explore.
And speaking of exploring, we will explore the NBA in-season tournament and how it went. Did they just add another chaotic layer to the already chaotic world of professional basketball, or was it a complete success? Lightning in the bottle.
I don't know. Because who needs a regular season when you can have a tournament in the middle of the season?
A box within a box.
A box and a box and a box.
Absolutely, and we can't ignore the legacy talk. LeBron James, is he the best overall all
No.
time? Is he second? Is he third? Where does he fall?
I know. how
And does the in-season tournament make any difference at all? I have my opinions about that, and we'll probably agree to disagree, but we'll see. It'll be fun. But we'll dive into that debate a little bit later.
Here's the thing. I can't say my next line because you didn't say, is he the GOAT?
I had lived. I
Yeah,
didn't want you to say no.
I know, but you said, you're supposed to say, is he the GOAT? And I'm supposed to say, do GOATs even like basketball?
That's why I'm
And
trying
then
to.
we move on.
I'm trying to
Go
avoid
ahead.
that.
You go on to the next one.
You're gonna say. You're gonna say the joke. I want you to say the joke you wrote.
I bet they're more into hoofball.
Yeah, the goats. They're even more into hoopball.
Yeah.
yeah.
You,
Not funny.
No,
And last but not
it
least,
wasn't at all.
last but not least, Shohei Ohtani situation. We had him, we lost him, we never had him. But then his contract comes out, and it's just a crazy different looking contract. More stuff came out today, but we're going to talk about that later on.
Yeah, I have a few opinions on this topic, and another one that we have, one last topic, is a little bit more serious, Tim.
Yeah, that's right, Greg. We're going to be talking about the House of Commons in Canada denouncing statements about Christmas and Easter being labeled as systematic
Systemic
religious discrimination. It's a heavy topic, but we're here to dissect it with the grace of a lumberjack doing ballet.
Yeah. And we're going to say systemic properly, maybe.
I'll try.
Maybe.
I'll try. What just say systemic.
You did it.
Yay!
You did it. So grab your toques, your hockey sticks, and maybe a cup of Tim Hortons, and let's dive into another episode of the Greg and Tim Show. Do you want to dive in?
Let's dive in.
Put on your helmets.
It's going to be more fun than a moose on rollerblades.
Hey?
Eh?
Hey, let's roll.
Let's roll.
Cheers, buddy.
Cheers.
Grab your phone, it's podcast time. It's the Greg and Tim Show. It's the Greg and Tim Show.
Isn't it another episode of the Greg and Tim Show? The Greg and Tim Show.
Festive take 2.
You want,
Christmas session.
you want to take 2?
No, I'm just saying. Like
Yeah.
like this is the second Christmas episode.
This is our third Christmas episode.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
We did the love languages.
All right, the presents.
We did the Die Hard movie.
Presents.
And we're going to talk about religion and Christmas this week. Should be a hot topic.
Yeah.
See how people respond.
I like when people respond.
Yeah.
Even negative.
Yeah, negative, positive, anything. Like, just be alive. Respond. Have a voice.
Yeah.
I don't
Talk to us. Talk
understand.
back to us.
Yeah. So, just to give you guys a heads up again, as I do every week, sometimes I do it at the end of the episode, which is too late. I'm going to do it at the beginning of the episode this week. We chapter everything. So at the bottom there, underneath in the description, in both your Spotify, in your Apple Music, on your YouTube, whatever you're listening on, you can click on different parts of the show and listen to just those parts if you want to while you're listening to the podcast, or listen to the whole thing and then share it with your friends.
Yeah, like if you're tired of listening to when Greg talks and you want to avoid it, just click off those parts.
Yeah. But if you're listening, we appreciate it, and we appreciate you subscribing and checking us out, sharing us with your friends. And if you're driving down the highway right now, enjoying some Greg and Tim show, we are sorry that Tim is going to say some things that might offend you.
Am I? I don't think so.
I think that's the goal.
Is it?
That's your goal. That's what you told me today. You said, Greg, I'm going to offend people to no end.
That's what I said.
That's what you said.
Direct quote.
Yeah. First of all, you wore the Michael Vick jersey.
I like Michael Vick.
For anybody not watching the episode, he's wearing an Eagles Michael Vick jersey. Michael Vick played for the Eagles after he was suspended for years due to having dogfighting.
The ultimate redemption story. Second chances. You don't believe in them?
I believe in second chances.
Well, he got one and he made the most of it.
Yeah, he did.
So that's not
But
terrible.
some people wouldn't
I have a great story about this.
appreciate
I
it.
have a great story about this jersey.
How much did it cost you?
Zero. Well, it didn't cost me anything.
Of course.
My wife got it for me for Christmas.
Oh, nice. That's very nice of her.
And that day, someone threw poo on it.
What?
Yeah, it's true.
Someone threw poo on your jersey?
Yeah, for the day I got it, I went to work at where I work my night shifts, and
Because they don't like Michael Vick, or
Well, they just-
because they just had poo in their hand?
they had poo in their hand.
That's weird.
You have to know the context of
Yeah.
the situation.
I kind of know the context. I know your background of
It's
where
all.
you work.
It's true though.
That's weird. So, did you wash it?
Well, yeah, of course.
Okay.
It went right into the washer.
Right away.
It had poo stains the whole time.
Eesh.
12 years of poo stains. But it was like funny because it was the first day I got it. Like, who has poo thrown at them? And it landed in the middle of the 7, by the way. Like, it
Who-
literally, I laughed. I found it funny immediately. It's like it was a target. And like,
So, question for you though. Like, you know where you work. I know where you
it's
work.
never happened to me in 24 years.
Oh, okay. So that doesn't happen regularly.
The
This
only
just happened.
time is the day I'm given a Michael Vick jersey by my wife for Christmas. One time. Like, what are the chances? Like, literally zero.
Yeah, there's not a lot of fans of Michael Vick.
A lot of people like Michael Vick, I think.
Meh, I guess.
He's a very exciting player.
He was. I really liked. Actually, on the Eagles, didn't he have that really good game that one time?
He played some. He was an
Didn't he go
all-star.
lights out when he came back with the Eagles though?
Yeah, he was
for
an
one
all-star.
game.
Oh, he was an all-star for a whole year. He played great for a whole year.
No. Okay.
And if you watch the documentary, he's giving back to the community. And again,
Yeah.
the ultimate redemption story.
Cool. No, I guess I'll check out the documentary.
Yeah.
I'll write that down here. Watch something Tim told me to watch.
You're just
Don't
scribbling on a piece of paper. you're not ready
Yeah,
anyway.
I wrote a whole bunch of stuff
No,
there.
you didn't.
Watch what
You're lying again. Remember we talked
So-
about lying?
I was going to ask you how your week was. I did ask you off camera before the camera started recording,
That is off camera, yeah.
and
definition of
you
off
said you don't remember what happened to you this week.
No, work has gotten busy, so it's gotten busy. December rolling around. We had a Christmas gathering on Sunday.
Yeah.
My wife's gathering.
Yeah, you sent a picture of Bernard and his mustache.
Yeah, can you put that up?
Yeah, let's throw it on up there.
Oh yeah, that's classic.
Classic mustache, you know.
He's got the best mustache in the group that's going to.
I 100% think
Yeah.
that it is standard issue for anybody that saves lives
Yeah.
to have a mustache.
Standard issue.
Standard issue.
Here's your uniform, and you gotta grow a mustache.
You must grow a mustache. So Bernard, congratulations on keeping the uniform nice and tight. Nice and tight.
Oh, so yeah, the gathering. That's
Yeah.
like my first Christmas gathering, pretty early, but we had a great time.
Yeah. I had Cruz's hockey, and then Cruz had like a hockey team building thing at Lasertopia where they all played laser tag in arcades. It's a really cool place. Have you been to Lasertopia?
I have, yeah.
Yeah. For the group thing, you get unlimited arcades.
Right. That's nice.
Super awesome for the kids. Like, you don't have to keep on loading up an arcade card. You get unlimited arcades.
How many people do you need? Like, can we go on Saturday?
We could, yeah. I think it's 8.
8?
I think so.
See if we get 8.
8 or 12. 8 or 12.
Okay.
You get
Not
pizza.
10.
You get pizza included. You get
8 or
unlimited
12.
arcades.
Yeah, not 10.
It's an even number. I don't
8
know.
or
It's
12.
8 or 12.
Or
It's an even number.
24. Who knows?
Max is 25. I know that. And then I had my Christmas party at a place called Uptown Alley on Sunday. We did bowling and we did laser tag as well. And a whole bunch of food was eaten and consumed. Yeah, it was a good time.
Yeah.
Christmas parties galore. And something else happened to me this week. Can you guess?
Something else that happened to you this week.
Yep.
You got a haircut.
One of Tim's superpowers.
Yeah, we have a hat on now, so it wasn't prompting me. I just said that earlier.
Okay.
I did notice you got the haircut.
Did you?
On Sunday, I said, nice haircut.
Yeah, because I wasn't wearing a hat.
Yeah, and now you are.
No, I am. Yeah. So let's move on to Winnipeg Jets and how they're doing lately. You want to do that?
Jets were first overall until they were overtaken by first.
They're not really overtaken. They got 2 games in hand.
Yeah.
1 game in hand starting tonight.
Yeah. But the big news: Kyle Connor gone for 6 to 8 weeks.
Yeah, that's what I got written down right here. 6 to 8 weeks. That sucks.
It does suck, but you know what? The Jets historically, and we talked about this last week when the beginning of last year, before the Christmas break, we actually did have quite a bit of injuries. With the Healers was gone. There's a couple other regulars. There's like
Wheeler, I think, was injured.
There was, I think, there's
Or
five or
just old.
six there were 5 or 6 starters that were down for the Jets.
Yeah.
And historically, going back all the years for the Jets, when they have had issues with injury, they've actually done very well. I remember when they're almost there. It was one of the first years. I think the first year when they went to the playoffs. They had a ton of injuries to their defense. And I think that was the year that Trouba got called up. One of those years. But the whole pretty much 5 of the 6 defensemen were down, and they were having to pick up defensemen.
Yeah.
But every time they've had issues with injuries, they've done well. So hopefully that continues.
I think just naturally in the NHL, there's issues with injuries. I don't think there's a team that goes a whole season.
Yeah, well,
the problem is you lose your top player right now.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Do you think they can keep up their offense with this guy gone?
I would have. Again, they
didn't last night.
They called up Toninato. Yeah, but that was the first game back. And in fairness, San Jose's been playing much better hockey lately. They've
went 0 for 5 on the power play.
Yeah, that doesn't help. And when you don't have a guy like Kyle Connor on the power play, and the power play was turning a corner. If
you think it was
the last few years, yeah, percentage wise, if you look at the numbers, they actually have been better over the last handful of games.
I honestly think the power play has been their Achilles heel for the last 2 years.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's been an Achilles heel since they lost Bufflin, but
yeah, Bufflin was a catalyst. Bufflin and Trouba were both catalysts on those power plays. It also helped with Laine on the 1 point, Bufflin on the other.
Yeah.
But I think the one thing that they lost when they lost Bufflin was that threat from the point that could bomb a shot.
Yeah.
Or pass.
Bufflin more than anybody else, more than Laine. More than any of these guys, because you can't cheat when he's at the point, because he'll just kill you.
Yeah.
And he had that bomb from the point, and you had to respect it. And it was a very difficult thing, because you remember that year where they scored on 9 straight power plays? It was before Laine got there. It was like a record. They scored on 9 straight power plays.
Okay.
And that was before Laine came here. So Dustin Bufflin, I mean, you don't have that, you have a couple of good shooters. One's a lefty, which makes some difference in how you disguise a power play.
Well, so their old power play with Laine was Wheeler, Laine, Bufflin, Scheifele, and then whoever they put in as that 5th person.
Yeah.
It was a right-handed, almost completely right-handed power play.
Yeah.
Now they're almost completely left-handed.
Yeah.
So you've got Morrissey, Ehlers, Connor, Perfetti, other than Scheifele and Pionk, and then Velarde's on the power play right now.
Yeah.
Most of them were left-handed now. So we've kind of gone the opposite direction. I don't think we have the bomb from the point, though.
Well, we don't.
Like, I don't think that
we have a couple of good shots, but you don't have that bomb. And a lot of teams
Morrissey doesn't threaten that way, right?
Yeah, but if you do look at the percentages, the last 10 games they had started to turn around. But again, that's one game. We'll see how they go in the future. But
Speaking of Bufflin, have
Yeah.
you seen the latest photos of him and what he's doing?
Tell me.
He is a professional fisherman now.
Well, he has dabbled in.
No, he's on the tour.
Really?
Yeah, there's photos of him.
I didn't know there was a fishing tour, like
Yeah.
like an actual
Yeah.
competitive.
Yeah, there's actual competitive fishing tours. And Bufflin has a record, like, where he's finished and
Yeah.
everything like that. And, like, there's standings and everything. He is a professional fisherman.
Good.
You didn't know this?
Well, no, I didn't.
Huh.
I knew he fished.
I thought you knew this. I thought I'd share this with you.
Maybe you might have sent me a picture or something, but
Yeah.
I don't remember.
I thought it was pretty cool. Anyway,
Are you going to put a picture of him?
see if I can find it. I'll throw it up there.
Well, you shared it with me before, so you should be able to find it.
Yeah.
It's right there.
Thanks for adding work for me.
Yeah, no problem. That's what I do.
It's a lot of extra work.
Next, let's talk. Let's talk LBJ.
Let's talk the NBA in-season tournament first. Before we get to LeBron James.
Yeah.
Who, by the way, is the first player to win the Olympics,
Yeah.
right? An NBA championship.
Yeah.
An MVP championship.
Yeah.
And this new in-season championship.
Well, it just started, so nobody could have won all those
But I don't think anybody else on the team has won all that stuff. Am I correct?
on the Los Angeles Lakers.
Yeah.
Well, the only person that would have been Anthony Davis.
Has he won an Olympics? Has he won an MVP?
I can't remember.
Has he won an NBA championship?
Well, of course he won an NBA. He won an NBA championship in the bubble, right, with LeBron because they played together.
Oh, okay.
So I don't understand the hate. There's no athlete,
Yeah.
that I know of on the face of the planet that is more hated by more people than LeBron James, and it just seems overdone to me. I don't understand it.
Do you think it's due to his comments socially?
On social media, well, lots of guys have comments in social media. The issue is this. MJ didn't do all those things. We didn't have the
No,
excessiveness
we didn't.
of the online, media for social media that we had back then. Who knows if he would have in that day, right? So like this is the issue. Should he be on so much? I mean, apparently LeBron James is a family man.
Yeah.
Apparently he's a great, he does a lot for the community. He's an amazing player. Nobody talks about the fact he's almost 40 years old and he's averaging 26 points a game in the NBA.
And he's carrying a team.
He's almost 40 years old.
Yeah.
MJ wasn't this good at he had retired already, but he wasn't
He
that
retired twice by then.
good. We're not talking about how good he is. All people talk about, and the problem is, I was actually, and for those people out there who don't know, the in-season tournament was won by the Los Angeles Lakers.
Yeah.
So nobody's respecting that he won. I mean, it's something you do well.
Does this give him anything onto his legacy?
I was honestly, I was hoping he didn't, because now people are like, they're laughing and they're saying that he won 2 championships. And this is the other thing. People disrespect the bubble championship. And this is the one that the Lakers won during COVID, right? Where everyone was sequestered into one place. Because for some reason, that was apparently an easier championship to win.
That would have been the hardest one to win.
That's my point. Like, why was it the easiest? The Los Angeles Clippers collapsed under the pressure. Remember Lou Williams getting those wings and he stopped, and Lou Williams stopped at an adult
contemporary club.
Exactly. And on the way to the bubble, when you weren't supposed to stop anywhere because was killing everybody, right? But he couldn't play. He was disqualified because he stopped for hot wings at an adult's amusement center, whatever you want to call it. And the funny thing was that he said no, he really likes the wings there, and that was the joke. But they collapsed.
Was it all you can eat wings? Or does all you can eat breasts?
Well, yeah. Okay, well, we'll cut that out too.
Why? Chicken breasts are great. They're white meat.
Yeah.
The wings are dark meat. The breasts are the best part.
Yeah. But why was it an easier championship to win?
Yeah.
So it's disrespected. So now people are saying, well, he won the 2 most disrespected championships. And now I'm not saying this is like I'm not talking about the in-season tournament being all that great or that
No.
it's that valuable, but apparently they're going to put a banner up.
They're
next
putting
year.
up a banner.
Which
LA is getting another one
Yeah.
in the LA, not the Forum.
I mean,
what is it called now? It's called Cryptocurrency Stadium.
in fairness, if you win like your division or you win your conference, or you're the Western Championship, you do get a banner. The banners aren't just put up for winning the overall championship. It happens all the time.
Yeah, you like
the Jets win the Smythe division.
no,
Actually didn't.
Remember when the Predators put up banners
Yeah.
for stuff that they didn't even really win?
Right. But there are banners put up for more than just winning the overall.
The Jets beat them.
Yeah.
And the Predators still put up a banner for winning the division.
Yeah. But this whole all this talk, and I'm not one of these people that say LeBron is the GOAT. If you want to transition into that, my opinion is Michael Jordan is the best basketball player of all time.
Yeah, 100% he is.
And LeBron is number 2. There's people that are LeBron lovers and they're new to the sport. They didn't see Michael play.
Yeah.
And they're on one side of saying, "Oh yeah, LeBron is the best, whatever. He's number 1 because that's who they saw play." They're on one side of the fence, and on the other, there's crazy people who say, "No, LeBron's 7th or 8th or 10th." Like these are haters.
No, obviously
they're biased by their hatred of the guy, and I have no idea. I don't understand why he is.
I think the only one that could maybe challenge him would be like a Magic Johnson, Wilt Chamberlain, those guys.
Yeah. And,
but more so because they played in a different era. If they played in this era, again, we talked about this the other day.
Yeah.
Jacques Plante would be the worst goalie in the NHL right now.
Yeah, but I've said this about Babe Ruth before. You cannot compare.
Babe Ruth smoked on his way up to the plate.
You cannot compare. So do you, but that's fine.
I do not smoke
anymore. You cannot compare guys in their generation to other generations. They were made for their generation.
Yeah.
What I always say is compare them to their contemporaries. Babe Ruth is the best of all time in baseball, and I know I'm going off track, but Babe Ruth is the best player of all time because he hit like 40 home runs, and the second best home run hitter hit like 8. That's why he is the best. He dominated so much.
He did it in a park that was very easy to hit home runs in. He actually built the park for him.
Apparently, the second best player who hit home runs didn't find it that easy to hit home runs in.
Mickey Mantle?
Mickey Mantle came after.
Was it that far after though?
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
It was it wasn't that far after, but they didn't play like in the same
era.
Yeah. But my point is you can only judge that, right?
Yeah. Well, there's certain players are the best of their generation.
Because you could again
like Wayne Gretzky is the best of our generation growing up.
Yeah.
And right now, you can argue that if Crosby played against Gretzky, Crosby would have been better. Back in the day when goalies wore shin pads for goalie pads and didn't move very quickly.
But again, I can only compare Gretzky against his contemporaries and how well he did compared to the other people.
It's Gretzky and Lemieux in their generation.
Yeah.
It's easy, right? Yeah. It's harder in this generation to actually pick a top 2.
Yeah.
I guess you could say Crosby Ovechkin right now.
Yeah.
And then you can go with like my youngest son's age group right now. You're going to go McDavid, Bedard?
Well, McDavid, McKinnon.
Yeah, because Bedard's still in his first year.
Yeah.
But like once Bedard gets into year 5 and McDavid's in year 10, they might be the two faces of the league.
Yeah.
Right?
Do you agree with me that it's Michael 1 and LeBron 2?
Yeah, 100%. Okay. The thing with basketball I find though is that you could have probably put Michael Jordan against LeBron James,
right? And
they could probably compete against each other.
My only point, and again, I'm going against what I've said before that you can't compare generations. Is that physically, if those two players had a 1-on-1 in their primes,
it would be a close game.
Physically, LeBron James is just better physically. Now, would Michael hit? What made Michael great and again, he was in the position to do so,
Yeah.
is that he was very, very clutch. When you needed him to do something, he almost always, although he didn't always do it, we just remember
the good ones.
He actually missed a lot of game-winning shots, but in the clutch moments in the championships, he made those shots, right? Yeah. Now I always argue that he also had a better coach. He had a better system. He had
Didn't LeBron James have what's his name as a coach for a while?
Who's that?
The coach that Michael Jordan had.
No.
I thought he had him
Phil Jackson was never.
I thought Phil Jackson coached him in LA for a little bit at the beginning.
He did not. And he didn't start in LA. LeBron James didn't start in LA.
No, I know. But I'm just saying when he went to LA, I thought he was there.
Phil Jackson might have been.
Oh, no. Phil Jackson coached Kobe.
Yeah.
Kobe and Shaq.
Yeah.
In LA.
Yeah. But that's my only argument is that physically, I think Jordan would have had issues with LeBron because he's more physical. He's bigger.
I don't know.
Jordan
also had some physical big players that he played against. He played against guys like Magic Johnson.
Yeah,
like Magic Johnson was a physically
guys like Charles Oakley.
Yeah,
Magic Johnson wasn't all that physical, but who I love. Magic Johnson might be my favorite basketball player of all time, but that's a different story.
You know who I like?
Who's that?
The guy with the big bald guy that
the big bald guy.
Oh man, what's his name? He was small. He played for the Suns.
Chauncey Billups?
No. Bigger dude with the Suns. Man.
Charles Barkley.
Charles Barkley. I like Charles Barkley.
Terrible.
It was fun. He's fun. He was a fun one to watch. I always thought that he was a good basketball player. He probably wasn't the greatest at his time, but
he was pretty good. He just got fat.
He got big.
Yeah.
He was a big dude. Anyway.
Yeah.
As Tim likes to say, moving on. Tim.
Yes, Greg.
On Friday, it was a roller coaster of emotions.
Oh, Friday, TGIF Fridays.
Friday, I woke up basically thinking that Shohei's going to make his decision when I woke up on Friday.
Yep.
That was my thought. Shohei's making his decision today. Yep. He did not. But I really, really think, and you might not think the same way as me.
Yeah.
I honestly think that JP Morosi and the Toronto Blue Jays were absolutely used in that event.
To drive the price up to a player who was ultimately always going to sign with the Los Angeles Dodgers.
Yeah. So we're talking about Shohei Ohtani.
Yeah.
It was OhtaniWatch all day on Friday. I posted our video from our podcast on Friday about Ohtani and how he would be the best fit for the Blue Jays.
Yep.
Posting that literally 12 minutes later. No, sorry, I posted that on Saturday. After the whole Ohtani watch happened on Friday and he didn't sign with the Jays. On Saturday, I posted why the Jays should have Ohtani, why he should sign with the Jays.
Yeah.
12 minutes after I posted that, I had to make a new post.
Anger. Angst.
The post was the fact that he signed with the Los Angeles Dodgers for a record-breaking 10-year, $700 million contract, which, good for him. Good for him. I'm absolutely happy that he got paid.
Sort of.
No, I really don't mind him getting paid.
No, he sort of got paid.
Yeah, we'll get to that in a second. But I'm glad the Jays didn't pay $700 million. I was good with $600. I was good with the $600 million. The rumor was.
So the reports were that the Jays offer was around the same amount as the Los Angeles Dodgers was.
Roughly, yeah.
So my question is this. If the Los Angeles Dodgers or Shohei's camp, his agent, used the Toronto Blue Jays to drive the cost up, it would have, I would think, be kind of back and forth thing. What's your bid? Bumping up the bid. So my question is, when they hit the magic number that Shohei's like, I want to get $700 million, and the Los Angeles Dodgers gave him that money, again, sort of, and we'll get into that. Do you think their camp went back to the Blue Jays and said, okay, no?
No,
Why not? Why not? Why not? Why not? Why stop? Why not? Why stop the bidding there?
because he wanted to play for the Dodgers. I think the Jays had a max bid. So this is what I think really happened. And it's a conspiracy theory, and people can say that it's wrong, whatever they want to say.
Yeah.
This is what I think happened. CAA, the management team for Shohei Ohtani, contacted JP Morosi, one person inside, not like main people or anything like that. Somebody inside contacted JP Morosi and said, Shohei's getting on a plane to Toronto.
Yep.
That's all they said.
And remember, that wasn't the only rumor, right?
And then there was a plane going from Anaheim to Toronto that was a private plane. Now, here's the thing with that private plane. Yeah. Shohei Ohtani owns a private plane.
Right.
The private plane matched the exact model of the one going from Anaheim to Toronto.
Yeah.
Now, let me break it down even further for you. On that private plane was not Shohei Ohtani. It was Robert Herjavec, I believe is how you pronounce his last name, from Shark Tales. Shark Den? Shark Tank. Shark's a shark. Robert Herjavec, did you know this, is a CAA client. A client of the same representation as Shohei Ohtani. So now you have a leak coming from somewhere to a very reputable MLB reporter, John Morosi, who would not have sent anything out without having a proper source.
So let's assume that's correct for the purposes of what?
To get LA back to the table for one last pitch.
Right.
Because by the middle of the day, when Herjavec landed and the helicopters in Toronto were circling the plane to see if it was Ohtani, and it wasn't, very eerily similar to Kawhi Leonard. When he showed up in Toronto, they did the same thing, but this time it was not Shohei that got off the plane. So when that happens, also during the day when this was all happening, when this plane's in the air for those hours, the LA Dodgers, one of the announcers or one of the
Dodger Nation is an online service with
the Dodgers, basically conceded that Ohtani was not signing with the Dodgers.
And then not just that, they were actually reporting that he was going to sign with the Blue Jays.
Yeah.
It wasn't just
they were also told
They
were also told that he was signing with the Blue Jays.
Right.
So there is some kind of source that has been feeding this information to these people. And then it took one of the other reporters, after the plane landed, the reporter came out for the MLB, said, no, Ohtani's not on the plane. He's not in Toronto. He's still at his home in Anaheim. I've confirmed this. Yeah. And I believe at that moment, LA said, we have our last chance to get him.
Right.
And they utilized that to get more money out of him.
I would suspect that a lot of what you say could very well be true.
This is just my thoughts. Yeah. Because
there's a lot of oddities in the entire story.
It's very weird.
Yeah.
And you know what else gets weird?
And going back to the point where, so you are happy that the Toronto Blue Jays did not spend that money. Is that what you're saying?
I am now, yeah.
You were very much up in the moon and the stars about getting Shohei.
So I am a Shohei fan. I'll watch him in LA. I got my Dodgers hat on because, you know.
Well, we're going to book a trip later on, right?
Right.
Yeah.
But the $700 million would have taken away from any other players that they could have signed.
Right.
Unless the Jays somehow figure out a way to structure the contract where it only costs them $2 million a year to have Shohei.
So the contract is, for those people who aren't following the story, $70 million a year, but for the first 10 years of the contract, it actually works out to only $2 million.
That's what he's getting paid.
And all the $68 million that's left per year is going to be deferred from 2033 to 2043 when the luxury tax, well, who knows where that's going to be.
Yeah.
Where inflation is going to be, who knows where that's going to be. And now today there was a weird out clause that said if the owner
or the president of baseball operations
steps down out of that position,
he can
leave.
He could leave LA.
So it's a very, very, very weird situation. Now, here's the other thing, too. For all those people in Major League Baseball, Yankee fans, Dodger fans, Mets fans, who think that money doesn't matter and they can throw it, it's all, you can throw as much money as you want, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
There's obviously it does if the Dodgers are trying to play these games in order to get other players. It obviously does matter.
So it allows them to buy more players and lower their luxury tax.
Yeah.
So I believe that it only lowers it though. I don't know for sure, but I think that it's only like 34 or 43. There's a weird number I heard that it actually it still goes against their payroll.
Right.
So they're not out the whole 70 million per year, but they are significantly less where they can sign somebody else for another 25 million and still be at the same amount.
Yeah.
So the other thing too is people are wondering if this contract's even going to be legal after the next CBA.
Well,
it's going to be.
Yeah.
But if they're going to be able to do another contract like this.
Right. It seems very questionable that you should be able to defer that much salary. I can see them making changes, yes.
So apparently this is the selling point to them, is that Shohei will make above and beyond that $680 million in endorsements and in other sponsorships and stuff like that in LA.
Yeah, like in California is a great situation where he's never been before to make endorsements. Oh, wait a minute. He just drove down the street. My bad.
It's the Dodgers, though.
Well, okay.
What do you think is going to sell more? A Dodgers Ohtani jersey, which, by the way, broke the record today.
Yeah. Well,
the most jerseys sold.
It's the honeymoon stage. There's going to be a ton of sales at the beginning.
100% there is. He beat Messi today.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's big money. And you last week were saying, who benefits from this? The Dodgers do.
Yeah.
100%.
For sure at the beginning, yeah.
And again, Ohtani will benefit from all these sponsorships.
Yeah. Money flows and it all works out for everybody. Except for Jays fans.
Except for the Jays fans right now. I think that, as I told you last week, Shohei Ohtani is a investment.
Yeah. And
the Dodgers are smart to invest in him.
But you're still happy we didn't get him for that money.
I just think it would have hurt the Jays more than it would have helped them at 700. Yeah. Last week I was talking 500. That's 200 million.
Just got to structure it $1 a year for 700 million years.
Yeah, I guess he's going to be a phenomenal player in that team, and I think that he's going to draw a ton of fans. And I'm looking forward to seeing his first appearance in Toronto. Yeah. The Dodgers come to Toronto this year.
Can you imagine after 10 years, he retires, let's say he retires after 7 and moves to somewhere where the tax rate is nowhere.
That's the thing.
He buys
moves
a private island or Florida.
Yeah.
And he just takes all his money.
Yeah. Why not?
Why not?
I think all of us would do that if we had the chance.
I know he's going to have to live on ramen noodles for 10 years with only $2 million a year.
Yeah. I don't know how he's going to do that.
I don't know how.
Ramen?
Yeah, ramen noodles. That's what it's called. Mr. Noodles is technically ramen noodles.
You don't think he'll have KD?
Katie's crab.
Crap dinner?
Katie's crap dinner.
Crappy dinner. My dad used to call it crappy dinner.
Yeah.
You want some crappy dinner? I'm
it's
sure.
I thought I had it every day.
Hey, Tim, it's time for the topic of the day.
Topic of the day.
Hip, hip, hooray.
Roll the music.
Okay, hooray. It's time for the topic of the day.
So this was brought to both of our attention about a week ago.
Yeah.
And there was a report brought on by the Canadian Human, what was the organization called?
The Canadian Human Rights Commission.
So they came out with a report that said Christmas is systemically, did I say it right?
Systemically, yeah.
Systemically racist because it excludes people that do not believe in a Judeo-Christian foundation.
Yeah.
And the leader of the Bloc Québécois,
Yeah.
interestingly enough, he actually brought this up in the House of Commons to condemn that report.
The reports and the paper, yeah.
Because he was upset that they were calling, or this organization was calling Christmas basically racist.
So just
and they all agree. They basically all agree. Trudeau agreed.
Everybody
I don't
passed the motion.
Yeah, so it was passed, and everyone's happy. Whether it's political or not, I don't know. It probably is a bit of it. But this is the question: is Christmas
systemically
racist,
discriminatory,
and
racist?
Before we talk about our opinions on this, the leader who published the report for this organization said, "No, we weren't calling Christmas racist. We're trying to raise awareness that the holidays, Christmas and Easter, are Christian, quote unquote, holidays. And what do people who believe in Islam, what do people who believe in other religions, they don't get a holiday, so they can go pray or do what their custom says."
Yeah.
So that is the question. And again, the House of Commons denounced it, but what are your thoughts on that?
So just before we start here, just for all of the person that's listening right now, in the description, I've got the link to both the papers. The paper that is about the original, and then the saying, of course, Christmas is not racist. We never said it was. I got the links to both of those down there, so you can judge them as you want, because I think people need the information and not just our opinions on this.
Yeah.
So I'm going to read what it said here. The Canadian Human Rights Commission, an agency with broad judicial powers that is fully funded by the federal government, has declared the celebration of Christmas is evidence of Canada's colonialist religious intolerance. Discrimination against religious minorities in Canada is grounded in Canada's history of colonialism, reads a discussion paper on religious intolerance published last month by the agency, which again is linked below. An obvious example is statutory holidays in Canada. It adds, noting that Christian holidays of Christmas and Easter get days off, while non-Christians have to request special accommodation to observe their holy days. Canada is replete, I don't know how to pronounce that word, with religious intolerance, and always has been. In order to move forward towards sustainable change, all Canadians must first acknowledge Canada's history of religious intolerance, and it goes on from there. So, when they argue that, of course, Christmas is not racist, we never said it was, that is just backtracking on a paper that I just read the bullet points of.
Nobody wants to be seen as being racist in 2023. So there's a reason why they would want to backtrack, whether you believe it's true or not that they were not.
I think that they're backtracking on a paper that was written that they don't want to be associated with it. They don't want to be associated with calling people racist or saying that Christmas is racist.
Well, in fairness, they didn't say people are racist. They said that the country as a whole, giving certain people of certain religious customs holidays and not other ones, is a religious practice.
Yeah.
So I think that it's not fair to say they're calling any individual or group racist.
Yeah.
Right.
So essentially, I did some research on this to find out what kind of countries actually celebrate Christmas. And it's crazy the amount of countries in the world that aren't fully based in Christianity beliefs that celebrate Christmas. India, for instance, celebrates Christmas. There's a lot of places that celebrate Christmas. The main places that don't, and let's see if you recognize any of these places. Afghanistan doesn't celebrate Christmas. It's not a formal public holiday there. China, North Korea, Morocco, Saudi Arabia, Somalia, Taiwan, Laos, Israel. Israel doesn't celebrate Christmas as a statutory holiday.
No, that would make sense.
Iran, Cambodia. These places are the places that don't celebrate Christmas.
as we get further and further on, like I would say, 50, 60, 70, 80 years ago, most of the people who were entering Canada were of countries who would be celebrating Christmas. That would be European countries coming to Canada. As we have in the last 10, 15, 20, 25 years, that demographic has changed.
100%.
So a lot of the countries that we're talking about are starting to live here, and we have a different diversity groups that we associate with, right? So is it a fair question? If I were to guess, and if we had somebody, and I try my best to think of the situation from someone else's point of view. So if I'm part of this organization writing this paper, it's like, I would like to create awareness. Now, I don't know what solutions you would talk about. Are you saying get rid of the holidays? Are you saying everybody gets a holiday? We're Oprah. You get a holiday. You get a holiday. You get a holiday.
Oprah.
So there has to be some realism in it. But I would think that they would argue maybe people should just be more aware that other people don't have your political / religious beliefs.
Yeah.
That would be my take on it if I was trying to be a PR person for those groups. Like you said, nobody wants to be considered as making a racist statement.
Yeah. No, for sure.
If you are, that's, you're going to be canceled. Right?
Nobody wants to think that they're forcing something down somebody's throats.
And again, if you,
and Christianity is not looked at as favorably these days as it used to be.
Well, the percentage of people who profess to be quote unquote Christians or Judeo-Christian beliefs has dwindled every decade.
Yeah.
Whereas the people that have those beliefs are now in the minority.
Yeah.
Right. And now
in some areas.
a lot of people celebrate Christmas and they don't celebrate in any way the Christian part of it. They'd call it Christmas. It's Santa. For Easter, it's the Easter Bunny.
Yeah.
And they don't celebrate the other aspects of it, and they enjoy those holidays.
They don't celebrate the reason for the season.
Right.
Essentially is what you're saying.
They wouldn't recognize that, or they would think that they don't go hand in hand.
So a Ledger poll last year asked Canadians who grew up in non-Christian homes whether they were offended by the greeting Merry Christmas. Out of those respondents, how many do you think said no, percentage-wise?
The question, how many people are offended?
Yeah, by the people that grew up in non-Christian homes.
Yeah.
How many of those do you think were offended?
10% offended. 5%. 5%.
92% said they were not offended. Okay, so 8% said that
I said 10 and then 5, so perfect.
That's pretty good. Like 92% of people are not offended by the words Merry Christmas.
I think people don't really think about it either.
If you told me, if I'm buying something from you at a store and you said Happy Hanukkah, I would say Happy Hanukkah back.
Right.
If you say Merry Christmas, I say Merry Christmas back. If you say Happy Holidays, I say Happy Holidays.
Yeah.
I'm not going to offend you, and you're not going to offend me. If it was Diwali and you said Happy Diwali, I would say Happy Diwali. Like, good for you. You know what I mean? Like, why do we have to be offended?
The argument,
why do we have to be offended?
Yeah.
When somebody says something, why does it have to trigger somebody instantly?
Well, we live in an outrage society and culture where we're always.
But why? What does that get you? If I said Happy Hanukkah to you, and you're not Jewish, what does that get you by getting angry at it?
The argument is that Christmas and those religious holidays dominate everything. There's just an overabundance, and they just take over everything, and all the other cultures that we talk about get nothing.
We live in a predominantly Christian country that was founded on Christian beliefs.
And some would say, and I'm just arguing the opposite.
No, for sure.
Some would say those days are gone.
It's not gone though. If you look at like our anthem, if you look at a lot of things that we have, it's not gone. It's just being suppressed.
Right.
I remember growing up in school singing God Save the Queen.
Oh, yeah.
And having the Lord's Prayer every morning.
Yep.
in a public school.
Yeah.
And
Me too.
and not having any problem with it.
Well, and you would be again. You
But
would be.
nobody-
You would be in the group that would support that because you are from that.
But nobody that I remember had any problem with it.
Right.
There was no outrage over it.
And that's not to go into even more. Sometimes it's not even the outrage of a group. Sometimes it's the media drumming out.
It's the outrage of an
that.
individual that gets magnified into the media.
Yeah, to create a story, which we need to do.
The same poll also asked Canadians of all religions whether Christmas and other religious holidays should be struck from the country's official stat holidays. Only 6% said yes.
Right.
So 94% of the people agree that Christmas and other religious holidays should continue to be stat holidays.
So this goes on to another topic. Is sometimes I find there's no need. Like, what is the motivation for a group like the Canadian Human Rights, whatever, to put out this paper
at Christmas
when, as you said, 6% of the population has any issues with it?
Yeah.
Why? And we see this in culture all the time, where a minute population amount gets a greater say than the percentage dictates.
Yeah.
And the outrage, it hits the media.
Yeah.
Why? And specific to this, why? What's the motivation? And something that they had to backtrack on because
I think it backfired.
It backfired, but why do it in the first place?
Because they thought it wouldn't backfire.
Yeah, but even if it doesn't backfire, what's the motivation? What are they gaining?
They're gaining the, I guess, overall impression that they are looking out for the Canadian human rights of everybody and not just.
Right. They're doing their job. So people don't think that their organization isn't working for the benefit of everybody.
The Canadian Museum for Human Rights is here in Winnipeg.
Right.
It is the one museum that's a national museum outside of Ottawa.
Yeah.
Here in Winnipeg. That Canadian Human Rights Museum didn't let certain people into it during the years 2020, 2021.
Yeah.
Canadian Human Rights Museum.
Yeah.
Also,
the argument for that was the betterment of the group as a whole overshadowed the benefit of the individual. That was always the argument.
Okay.
I
like your argument. I like it.
Listen, the argument was never where we are not trouncing on people's personal human rights. We just believe the human rights of the overall group supersedes it.
So at that time, that was 70% of people, correct? Roughly 70%, I believe.
But
was the number?
Was which number?
That was allowed to go in. 70% of the population,
70 to 80, somewhere on there,
was allowed to go into there.
Yeah.
94% of the population, is not offended by the words "Merry Christmas."
Right. So
we wrote they wrote a paper.
It's a smaller. Maybe they didn't do the research
based on 6%.
Right.
But they wouldn't let 30% of the people into their museum during a certain time.
Right.
Those people did not have the same human rights.
Right. Again, the argument is what I just said. It was.
Yeah, I know you're saying that.
Yeah. I'm not saying I believe that. I'm just saying that that's the argument.
Is that if you're going to write a paper on something, then you should have some backup saying that, you know.
By the way, I don't agree with the argument I just gave, but I'm just saying that's the argument.
That's the argument that they have.
Yeah. It does make. I mean, that's always been the case as far as human rights, right?
Yeah.
The individual human rights don't always supersede the groups over.
It's a super heavy topic.
Yeah.
And
apparently something that most people don't really care about.
And apparently that, like, the topic's heavy in terms of there will be always noise about it.
Yeah.
There will always be noise about, like, At the mall, you should be saying Happy Holidays, not Merry Christmas.
The Christmas kids show from school should say Winterfest and not Christmas something.
Or holiday surprise special.
We live in the political correctness day and age. We have for the last decade.
Politically Incorrect with Bill Maher?
I do.
Oh man,
I didn't watch much of it, but I do remember the show.
He has an interview with Roseanne Barr lately that is unbelievable.
Hey, she got a new show on apparently.
She did?
Yeah, Roseanne has a new show coming.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
She is still hilarious in my mind.
Right.
B got a very raw deal from her employer when she was on the Roseanne show and got fired from it.
I've heard the story.
For a comment that she made. Yes, she made an inappropriate comment.
Yeah.
But she did it as a comedian.
Yeah.
Which a lot of comedians make inappropriate comments.
All the time.
A comedian just recently, Matt Rife. Have you heard of this guy?
Yeah. And I've heard the story too.
So he made a comment about like girl should be in the kitchen. And if she was good in the kitchen, she wouldn't have that black eye. Like it was a very edgy joke.
Yeah.
But you know what he did? I don't know if you know this. Instead of apologizing, he went on TikTok and he said, if you were offended by my joke, please click the link below for my apology. Yeah. You click the link below. Yeah. And it took you to special needs helmets to purchase.
I think that people should be allowed to say whatever they want, and if people will be the judge if they think it's inappropriate. But people will not come to a show.
Yeah,
Michael Richards.
Yeah,
his career went down the drain because people decided he was canceled.
Yeah,
let people decide, not media.
Yeah, let the people be the judge, jury, and executioner. Yeah, not the media.
Yeah,
don't take a side. Yeah, just.
And the media for this story specifically is going back and forth. So, well, there's a story that says about this paper. Now there's a story about the House of Commons talking about it. Now there's a story about the comments by the backtracking of the comments. Yeah. And it's whatever the media now in our 24/7 era.
News media.
They have to, and now on social media, something has to be written that gets clicks. And now it's, again, we talked about this before, but online, it doesn't even matter if you say it's true. All it has to do is get a response. Yeah. And as soon as I say something, good, bad, ugly, it doesn't matter. They won.
It happens with our shorts. Yeah. If people don't agree with them, they tell us.
Yeah. Well, yes, and I use that for us as well.
There's one of our shorts about paper straws from a couple weeks ago. Yeah. That there's literally like 3 people just arguing in the comment section over and over. I'm not even in it anymore. We just post, and then they're like, one guy said, paper straws are killing the environment. Another guy says, give me the proof that, and then another guy goes, and it just keeps going and going and going. I think there's like 20 comments underneath the one guy's comment, and I'm not even in there.
It's kind of funny.
It is kind of funny, but it just goes to show that we're not like, we give opinions. Yeah. We do give opinions. Some things that we believe are not popular opinions, right. But in a free society, we're allowed to give opinions.
Yeah, I mean,
providing that they're not harmful to people.
And nowadays, it's harmful to someone if they think it's harmful, and that's true. Yeah, like what is outrageous is when someone finds it outrageous.
So if you don't like it, don't listen.
Yeah.
Like,
it's far too logical.
Like Joe Rogan's podcast. Yeah. Don't listen to his podcast if you don't like what he's saying.
Right.
Theo Vaughn, if you don't like what he's saying, don't listen. He has an interview with Kat Von D. I haven't watched it yet, but she is a recently baptized Christian. I don't know if you know who Kat Von D is.
I do not.
She was on a show, I believe, called Inked. Or something. It was a tattoo show. She was a tattoo artist.
I know exactly who that is. I didn't watch the show, but I know exactly who it is. Yeah, I think
so. She's a recently baptized Christian, right? And she's doing the rounds on all the podcasts. It's cool to see. Yeah. It's a positive environment.
She probably celebrates Christmas.
Let's go with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles today.
Let's go with it. What do you mean?
The theme song.
Oh, at the end of the show.
Yeah.
I hated that show. I hated it.
Yeah, the Teenage Mutant
I hated that show. I hated the cartoon. I hated the real.
Heroes in a Half Shell.
I hated the movie. I hated everything. Well, I didn't watch it. Cowabunga dude's like going to punch you in the face.
They made pizza popular.
I couldn't stand that.
They did for pizza what Popeye tried to do for spinach.
Thanks for watching the Greg and Tim Show podcast. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share with all your friends. Sharing is caring.